Hello, YouTube viewers. Christina Martin here. So today I have a special guest on my channel. Her name is Unicole Unicron, and she is an artist, a futurist, a life coach, and an entrepreneur. Her website is unicoleunicron.com, and she's the cult leader of the Unicult. But before we get into that, Unicole, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. How are you? Oh, I already asked you that. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. So I want to know more about your spiritual journey. Were you always spiritual, or did something act as a catalyst for your awakening?
As a kid, I was really spiritual. I thought I was always talking to God. I thought that was totally a normal thing. I had conversations with God about everything from, lost earrings to lunch. And, I realized that that was not normal or acceptable among my peers. So I cut that out. And, in middle school and high school, I started really caring about intelligence. And so I really tried to reject my spirituality for a lot of years. And as I went through a strong depression and I came out of that, I realized I am a spiritual person, and I have to allow myself to do that. So my journey has been, I'm glad that I, have arrived at this point where I can look into my spirituality and say confidently, yes, I know what I believe and I know why I believe it. But it took a long time to get here.
Yeah. I know that we were talking before, and you were talking about your channeling experiences, or you had a moment where you connected to the Arcturian energy field. Do you want to go into more of that? Because I feel our experiences are pretty similar.
Yeah, I was actually up in the mountains, and I've researched, aliens and interdimensional beings and fifth dimensional beings, and I've read all about them, and I find the concept really appealing. But there was one book in particular, We the Arcturians, and I pulled it off the shelf, and it was channeled in the same month of birth, in the same year. And it just struck me, and I said, oh my goodness, I came from these people who wrote this text. Like, all my life I've been looking for people who think like I do, and it's here in this book. And so I got really high off that idea, I went crazy looking online, which is how I found your video. And it's there's a lot of people who are tapping into this energy, and I think it's super interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I felt a little crazy when I first started waking up to all this stuff, and I know that not everyone is going to understand it, and not everyone has been so tapped into these other realms. And I know that you always have had that connection like me, and you've always been able to sort of talk to your higher self, or maybe guides or angels. Now I'm realizing that that's what I've been doing all my life. I've been speaking words that have been guided from something a little bit higher, so that makes a lot of sense. And I've never read that book either. That's so awesome. Like, I keep wanting to read it, so I definitely have to read it. What's the main message of it?
That we're all one, and that we are going to, really what I like about it, especially, and this, even it's separate. What I like about it is separate from how I feel about it. I feel that it's true, and I feel a little weird about that, but that's how I feel. And but the philosophy of it is that we're all one, and that every type of expression is just a different type of expression. They even talk about, all the terrible things happening on Earth, and they say that's just a type of creative expression that we don't really think is maybe the best type of creative expression, but we respect it because it's just another type of expression.
Yeah. That's
so
cool.
They're very interested in diversity, and they, strategically place crystals on their planets, and
wow.
I'm into it.
That's awesome. I got to read that. Okay. So you have studied the media, and you understand that a lot of people are being brainwashed by the media. Do you want to share any of your insights or your findings on this?
Yeah, so I think it's important, first of all, to identify what I mean by brainwashing when I say that. And for me, brainwashing is any kind of media or story that makes someone believe something without instigating deeper thought. So think about all the different things that you think in your day-to-day, and think about how many of those you got secondhand from another source. There's going to be a lot. And you have to start thinking, okay, where did I get this information? Who informed me that this was the way that things are, this is the truth? And are they a legitimate, valid source to be telling me that that's actually the way things are? And so for me, brainwashing is just, and media is really good at this, especially audiovisual media. You've got flashing lights and sounds and a story, and so people just internalize these stories, and they say, oh, they see a movie like with people who are in a relationship and it's super tumultuous, and they say, oh, I guess that relationships are tumultuous, and like it's really hard to be in a relationship because I've internalized that. And so there's all these different things that go on in media that we internalize as truth. It's a secondhand source. And, you know, creation myths and storytelling is I love this topic. Storytelling is like the way that we understand the world. Storytelling is how we shape our reality. Language is like programming for our mind to understand our reality. Mm-hmm. So when we tell ourselves stories, and we tell stories on, you know, any medium, it's influencing how we act. It's influencing our reality and all of our interactions.
Yeah, definitely. I know we were talking before, and you asked me if I was a witch, and I was like, yeah, because I do feel that when I'm making my videos, I'm sort of casting a spell in through my art and everything. I'm changing people's consciousness, so I am using magic in a way, and I know that you definitely understand that, and you're using it for good. So that brings me to my next question, which is that why you create your music videos? To sort of brainwash people in a good way, like to drive in key points?
Yeah, so you think about these things in a way, and you can only come to a few conclusions. The first conclusion is, okay, I'll try to avoid media that's harming me or reject those narratives. I can try to understand that I've internalized them and reject them and create my own. But that's where creating your own media comes in. You say, okay, well, this is all messed up. I'm going to create something that I actually believe in and that I want other people to be able to internalize. And I try really hard to shape all of my media and like all of my messaging. I have messaging, and I tell people that, and I put it up front, and I say, this is my messaging. But I want people to create their own ideas. And that's, you know, really where my media differs. My music videos, like, I'm not very good at making music, but I try really hard. And the reason why I do that is because for a woman in our society to get enough attention that actually she can make a difference, she has to be a pop star, like, for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way to do it if you're a woman. If you're a man, you can become a politician. You can, you know, it's like, I've just looked at the situation, and I've applied myself in the way that I think I will be the most effective.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. So, let's see. You are a very creative person. You make videos, you paint and write and everything, which is very similar to me. And I just think that, yeah, I think we're very similar. I think you're like my Arcturian sister or something like that. I'm like, oh my God, this girl's so awesome. I'm so happy I found you. I just want to like teleport you into my room and like hang out with you and take you.
I know, when I started watching videos, I was like, oh, I just want to be friends with her. Like,
yeah, it's awesome. Well, one day, you know, in the future, we'll just be able to teleport places. I don't know.
Yeah, once we learn telecommunication, we can just mind meld.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What is your main impetus to create, or what is your motivation to create? What inspires you for your art and everything? Mostly.
I just want to make the world a better place. I think the world has been really dark, and I started to understand kind of my purpose a couple of years ago, and I remember being so upset, you know, and like crying and sending all this energy out into the universe and being like, there's no infrastructure for what I need to do. Like, mm-hmm. I need to help people understand like that their true selves are legitimate, you know, because we've been undermined so much by society for our true selves. And so I look around, I'm like, everybody needs to be like in touch with, there's no infrastructure. Nobody even knows about this practically. Mm-hmm. But even that was just a couple years ago, and it's happening. You know,
Yeah.
you see it, and it's because the internet, people are just understanding things better. So yeah, I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like I'm driven to bring the world into this higher realm of, you know, love and understanding, and that's why I never stop. I just keep going all the time. I'm always doing something.
That's great. That's awesome. So, oh, okay. That inspires the question. So, do you believe in the shift in human consciousness? Do you think we're waking up to more of our power? Do you think more people are experiencing love, etc.? Like, what do you think about that whole shift in consciousness, like the Mayan prophecy sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand it in 2012, even though it happened to me. I mean, I became Unicole in 2012. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I need to like do something. And I think it's been a little bit more slow going than people expected it. I was thinking about this today. I was thinking about how we always use the term like wake up. People are waking up. And so I know when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I've been in this horrible nightmare. And I just kept thinking about the nightmare and thinking about the nightmare and like, oh, everything's so messed up in this nightmare.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you're awake, you don't need to live in the nightmare anymore. You can move on into the beautiful realms of your new reality if you want. And so that's what I think is starting to happen. People are waking up. You can see it with conspiracy theorists, especially. People are obsessively digging out truth, and that's so indicative of this shift. You know, people are wanting truth. They're wanting openness, and it's bringing like this compassion that we didn't previously have when we were so separate from one another. It's because of technology.
Definitely. It's Age of Aquarius, which is technology, communities, awakening. So, let's see. What is the Unicult? And do you want to explain why you use the word cult?
Yeah, the Unicole is a club that I started. I started it when I was thinking about what is power and what is truly powerful, and I came to the realization that the powerful force on the planet are groups of people. And so I just immediately I was like, okay, I'm starting a group of people. So it's a group of like-minded people interested in bringing about a better future. It's going to be people who are creating new things. Maybe they're business people, maybe they're entrepreneurs, maybe they're inventors, artists especially. It's been mostly focused with, but anyone who's willing to work towards bringing in a better future. And I use cult. I get asked this question, and I wonder myself. It's maybe caused. I think it's edgy, right? And I mean, cults are. I heard this one quote. It said, "A cult is what a big congregation calls a little congregation," and I think that's great because you can think of any religion as a cult.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, culture stems from cult. Like it's a group of people coming together, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And you know, it will get people's attentions. I was like, yeah, this is cool,
Yeah.
but I'm a weirdo, so.
I like the culture.
Yeah. Okay. So who can join the cult? Who can join the Unicult?
Anyone can join the Unicult. And I used to have like an official form that people had to fill out, but I think that people are their attention spans are too short for that. So I say just if you follow me online, in the Unicult.
And it's through your website?
Yeah, you can go on universe.com. It's UN1V3R3.com.
Okay. Let's see. Why unicorns?
Okay. I always have loved unicorns. I think that they represent this amazing, like, I didn't even, like, when I was first thinking about losing my virginity, I was like, maybe I shouldn't because I might meet a unicorn. Like, I mean, I was old enough, right? Yeah. I thought it was a deep consideration I had. But I remember being, young and thinking, oh, man, if I got a tattoo when I was little, it would have been a unicorn. And I was, like, in high school and I was thinking this, and I was like, ugh. Like, I wouldn't want a unicorn tattoo. And, of course, now I have, like, 3 unicorn tattoos. And I think of it as my connection to my true self.
It's beautiful.
My inner self.
Yeah. So
it's a good brand too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love unicorns. I love fairies. I love all that fantasy stuff because it's just so much better than what's going on in the world. I like to live in my imagination a lot. And our imagination is powerful. People don't often realize that your imagination is the best tool. It's connected to your intuition, using your imagination and visualizing things. That's how you manifest in this world. Like that's what we are. We're creators, and we've forgotten how powerful we are. Okay, I could go on forever, but this is about you. So next question is, are you a fairy?
Oh my goodness. I don't think so. I actually have trouble talking to the fairies. Like, I read a book about talking to the fairies, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I definitely like appreciate the fairy realm. It kind of like scares me a little bit. Like, they could like take you and dance all night, and there's all these
apparently they are kind of like evil and good. They're like tricksters or something like that.
Yeah, and I think they are annoyed that we disregard them. So I try to pay homage to them. I've got like fairy gardens, and I love them, but I don't think I am one. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. I kind of think you're like connected to some sort of nature something. And when I look at you, I immediately think like, oh, you're like a Pleiadian goddess, Arcturian goddess, or something like that. Like that's what I get when I look at you.
I learned about tree spirits recently and how they can come outside of the tree at night, and that's why it feels so spooky to walk in a wood at night. And after I read that, I went outside, and I don't live in like a rural area. My neighbors saw me probably doing this, but I was like hugging my tree in the front garden. I was like, this feels so good. Like, people always make fun of hugging trees, but this feels great. Like, people should hug trees more.
Yeah, they're antennas for energy. Like in my Qigong practice, my teacher told me, if you have a tree that you spend time with, like that you're comfortable with, then you can do this practice where you go and you take energy from the tree, and it's a real practice, like this practice. And
cool.
And I was like, yeah, I actually go sit in this tree and we hang out. She's like, oh, perfect. And I was like, hey, okay. I haven't done it yet, but yeah, I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
So
try that. It sounds good.
Let's see. Okay, so that any advice for people who feel connected to these other realms or the spirit world, and they maybe want to start talking to their guides or are getting some sort of angelic assistance? Any advice?
Yeah. So that is a great question, because when it happened to me, I was like, what the hell is going on? So I think there's a few things. The first is that it's totally rational to believe that this is possible. I'm really into the idea, the electromagnetic spectrum. It's got, all of light, microwaves, X-rays, and brain waves. So electromagnetic radiation can go through any surface. They can go through any surface except for like metal, but they can travel through space without a medium. So it's not like a sound wave where it has to go through air. It's like we see light from stars. It can travel. So the fact that our thoughts are on the spectrum makes it almost dumb to think that they're trapped in our brains.
Yeah.
That they're trapped in our minds, right?
That makes
so much sense. If our thoughts are on the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation that can go through space without, it gets distorted a little bit, sure, but it's not hard to imagine that another being, especially in another dimension, could easily interpret those signals and send them.
Yeah, no.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, my suggestion is don't feel crazy. This is not irrational. It's not illogical. Like you were saying, it's not fantasy. It's reality. If it's true within you, it's true. And the one thing that I think the only thing that's important is make sure to only communicate with beings that are assisting you. If you've got beings who are, like demons and stuff, just imagine that you can overcome them. Mm-hmm. I think that if you want to connect to these beings, you have to eat. You have to eat right. That's annoying, I think, that you have to eat right.
I think so too. Yeah, and drinking and stuff, like it disconnects
you. Drink all kinds of water.
Yeah.
Cut back on your coffee. And certainly you can't be taking antidepressants or something, I don't know if that's absolutely true, but I know that when I was on antidepressants and a lot of heavy pharmaceutical medication, that part of me was totally muted, and I don't know. I don't want to lecture anybody on that, but in my experience, I know that I would have to be have a clean body for that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's exactly what I think. I think that that's right. Everything you said is true. And I mean, if people like it's illogical to think that telepathy and that kind of communication doesn't exist. Like scientific studies are proving that it does. We don't know everything about it yet, but it's happening to people I know. It's happening to me. Like I've been meeting people and we've been having these like dialogues or like having these weird exchanges where we'll just know things about each other and like just it's beyond what my mind can even process. And I'm just like life is so magical to me these days. And I've been setting the intention to connect to soul group members and, like you said, cut off energetic ties to any sort of negative energy, anything not serving me. And you can really just do that by setting your intention. Just like say, like, I intend to only connect to source energy. So if you do that, you really don't have to worry about connecting to anything evil. You're only going to connect to what is inside of you. You're only going to see and experience the reflection of your vibration. So yeah, everything you said is perfect. So
yeah, I believe that 100%. I used to spend, I know, just like you, we delved into the the bad aliens, and
yeah,
the conspiracy. I would just sit there and worry, and and it's
yeah,
like, hey, belief makes real. If you believe in things, if you raise your vibration, you could say it this way, to the point where you're going to be above them. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be able to reach you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're good. Okay, so what were we talking about? Bad aliens. Oh, or do you have any advice for people who are who like are worrying about like bad aliens and demons and things like that when they're on the spiritual path?
Yeah, just ignore them. just raise your thoughts and go higher above that and think, okay, maybe they are existing. And that's what I think is so cool about the Arcturians. They're like, yeah, there's bad aliens like influencing the humans, but they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
They're just there because you've called them there in a way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just rise above them and go to the next beings on the level, like, I mean, the Arcturians are in the Pleiadians and the 5th dimensional and 6th dimensional and the people of the violet flame. If you're into, speaking with these higher realms, look into those ones and just focus your energy on those ones and don't worry so much about the bad ones. Yeah, that's my advice.
Perfect. So what do you think the future of humanity is going to be?
I think that partly we carry within us a narrative of this masculine, patriarchal anger and this idea that everything will erupt into war, right? That's kind of what people think. Like, oh, there's going to be zombies roaming the streets, and we see that in media so much. And maybe that, you watch shows like Doomsday Preppers, and these people are like, yeah, there's going to be marauders trying to kill my wife, and they're going to steal my food. And it's like, that's only going to happen if we all believe that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my idea for the future, what I think we are completely capable of, is envisioning the best for ourselves and for the world and behaving in alignment with that. If we all do that and we teach our children, equality, and we teach them, respect, and we teach them to follow their true selves instead of outside influence, the future will be so beautiful. I can't tell you what it's going to look like. You talk to, well, I wish I could talk to him, but you read like Ray Kurzweil, and he talks about the singularity and the way that technology is going to just explode our brains and bodies basically in the best way possible. And it's going to be nothing we can imagine. But what we have to do is go into it with the best of intent to create the best world. We're always playing the victim. We're always saying, oh, well, other people are going to be doing this, so I must do this. Mm-hmm. But that's not the way it is. You have to say, I'm going to do something great, and I'll inspire other people to do similar great things.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. We have to take back our power and realize that we are creators, and we're creating all the drama in the world. We have this fight within us, and we have this polarity, and we think that there's a bad and there's a good, and we have to fight the bad. And and choose sides, but really, if we just realize that all is God, all is creation, and you start sending your love to everything, then I do believe that this, the hologram will change, and we will be able to create a better future.
Yeah.
So that's so I guess I answered my own question, but I'll get your perspective. So how do we actually bring that about? Like, do you have any tips for people? Like, how can we stay in our power? How can we raise our vibration to love and freedom?
I have a set of steps called Program for Joy that is kind of meant to do this. It's, I believe that happiness basically is raising your vibration. So if you're in this like terrible, sad place, you're going to be in this low vibratory rate. But if you raise your vibration and you want to be, a better person, and you're going to be happier. So Program for Joy addresses that, and it says, you have to be cynical, look around you and say, okay, things are pretty bad, but then you have to be hopeful and say things could be better, things will be better. And then you have to start focusing on your own truth. And that takes a really long time, and it takes a lot of dedication, and it takes a lot of courage to do that. But if we can all listen to our hearts, and we can all speak our own truths, and we can say, this is who I am, and this is how I feel, we can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody has a pure heart inside of them.
That's so true. So let's see. That inspired the question, who are some of your main inspirations or influences? Like any mentors or things like that? Or authors that come to mind?
That's a hard question. I like fall in love with every person I see online. I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is amazing. And so, you've helped me a lot on my journey, especially recently with a lot of the things that you've been saying. And it's hard for me. I've read, obviously, I love books. I've
1, 2, 3, 4 bookcases. That's awesome. That's the same as me.
I've read, the classic literature and, poetry and philosophy, whatever. Like, I think Ray Kurzweil's great. I think he's doing great things. I think internet artists like Casey Jane Ellison and people who are participating in any creative way, I think they're just great. Like, I could consume art all day.
Cool. Very cool. So what is your overall main message for our viewers, for humanity? What do you want people to know the most? What's the most important thing?
It's two-sided, and it's the same thing, but it's hard to understand that it's the same thing. And the first thing is that you can be happy. So you can live your true self. You can do that. You have permission. Give yourself permission to do that. Yeah. And the other side of it is that we can be happy. Our culture, our world, we can be living in the best possible way. And it starts with each of us. We each have to find out what the best possible way is to live, and then the world will end up being a better place, and it'll help people be better people, and better people will be world better. And so it's two-sided, but it's the same thing. It's you can be happy, and the world can be happy.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so do you want to do some fun questions?
Sure.
Okay, so what is your zodiac sign?
Leo.
Oh, nice. That's why you're such a performer. Leos are like, hey, I'm here. I want to do fun stuff now. They're just so like intense, but I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's intense to be.
Yeah, in general. Let's see. Do you like astrology at all, or follow it at all?
Yeah, I think it's legitimate.
Yeah.
People are always like, oh, it's a dumb science or whatever, but I think of it as like maybe different wavelengths, like different people, different souls come in through different wavelengths, and based on the planetary alignment, those wavelengths are opened. And so I could see that being the case, I guess.
Yeah, the way I look at it is, I don't like people try to people have tried to message me and say like astrology is fake and whatever, but they don't really understand it they're trying to look at it from an analytical level or a scientific level and prove it physically, but the world's not physical, first of all. And the way I understand astrology is, here, let me just fix the camera. The way I understand astrology is on an energetic level. So I basically have like studied people all my life, and originally that's what I was doing. I was going to be a psychologist, but I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be an artist. But I've used that still as a form of psychology. And, you know, when I run into people, because I'm so sensitive, I'll pick up on their vibration, and I've learned to sort of read them and go, okay, well, you're that. And it's easy. It's like not a way to stuff people into a box, but it is a way for me to understand how to deal with people and how to like relate to people. So it's an energetic thing for me. And words are just words. So it's just a symbol for an experience or something I'm experiencing. And then other people, you know, have their different ideas of astrology. There's no like right way to do it. There's so many different ways to go about it. And it's a very intuitive process for me. And the way I kind of look at it is like our souls get filtered down through different planets or something like that. I don't know. This is really far out, but it's true. I feel like it's true. And we receive different energetic radiation. I don't know, some sort of electromagnetic radiation from certain planets. And if you're sensitive, you can feel it. You definitely can feel it. And I feel that people, like, you choose your birth. You choose a lot for some sort of reason. And, you know, people can't comprehend that, but it makes so much sense to me. So there you go,
It
guys.
doesn't seem weird to me.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. So do you have a favorite zodiac sign or favorites?
Probably Geminis.
Yeah.
I like Geminis. My boyfriend's Gemini Cancer on the cusp,
Oh,
and I love him. He's just great.
that's awesome. Geminis are awesome.
He's a really good balance. Yeah.
Cool. And least favorite?
Probably Scorpio, just because I'm scared of them.
Yeah, they're so intense.
What's your sign?
Libra, cusp, Scorpio. But I'm a Pisces moon, so I'm like really nice on the inside, and Leo ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
So I seem like a Leo, but then I'm like actually an evil Scorpio.
I think I've got Libra as my second sign. My
moon.
I don't know, one of them, but that I'm like supposed to be good at business for that reason or something.
Yeah, logical.
But I don't know.
Okay, let's see. What's your favorite book?
That is a hard question. I usually say Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Yeah, that book is great. It's so funny. Like, people don't know that it's funny. But
Yeah.
if you sit down and you read Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass and what Alice saw there, you'll be cracking up.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
The original Alice in Wonderland book? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've read it too.
And it was written in like 1870s, I think?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that's about right.
The guy was like a genius. People don't realize how intense it is. It's like he makes up like math.
Next level.
Math, like,
yeah.
shit. Like, I don't remember.
If you get a chance to read like the annotated version, the whole second book is a chess game.
Oh yeah.
And you can follow the different chess moves, and that's how the plot is driven.
Yeah, it's
too smart.
It's really smart. It's really smart. Let's see. If you won the lottery, what would you do with the money, and why?
Oh, I can't wait to be rich.
Me either.
I am going to buy land and have it be a teaching center for sustainable living, and I'm going to start lots of different businesses, and I'll probably have to grow my wealth more slowly than winning the lottery. It would be nice to win the lottery, but the way that I work and the way that I want to work and the levels that I want to work do require like significant influence, and that influence is easily obtained with money. And so I used to view money as like really evil, but I've learned to accept it because it's actually a great vehicle for doing really cool stuff. But yeah, I will grow my wealth, and I will start lots of different businesses that will help do the exact same things that my art is now doing. Will help other people.
Yeah. I used to be the same way. I used to be the same way. I used to hate money, and think it was the root of all evil. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, if I don't make money, I'm going to have to go live in the forest and I won't be able to have internet and talk to people like you. So I've learned to harmonize.
I've been able to do so much more with being, more wealthy than being poor. I've been both. And I've been, the amount of good work that I can do with money is way more.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, if anyone's watching this and they have, between $10,000 and $10 million they'd like to invest in me, I'll take it.
Yeah, same. Let's see. Okay, if you had a magic power, what would it be?
Super charisma.
Super charisma.
Yeah.
Why?
I just think it would make things so much easier. I get along with people like you, but oh man, some people I don't know if it's because I'm a millennial or what, but I can't hide my impatience or my annoyance on my face. So if someone's saying something really dumb, I'm like, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I find it hard to wear a mask sometimes too.
I don't know if it's helpful. I think
not all the time.
It would be nice to just like charm people all day long.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I wish I could do that.
I'm just so emotional, but I can't hide it. I'm like, if I'm mad, I'm mad. And if I'm happy, I'm really freaking happy. People are like, you're nuts. You're like bipolar. And I'm like, no, I'm actually just creative and
showing my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. If you could travel anywhere in time, any period in time, where would you go and why? It's a difficult one.
I like it now. I think I was born now for a reason, because now it's a crazy time. I was born in a world without internet. It existed in some form, but not in everybody's house. And the amount of change that I'm going to see happen in my life, if I live a life as long as I intend to, is going to be so magnificent and so I am so excited to see the future that I believe in come to fruition. I think that this is the best time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I romanticize the past a little bit and go like, oh, it would be so cool to live like before the government was messing everything up or whatever, and like just live off the land and like live in a tribe or something, and like I don't know, but I think you're absolutely right. We have more than we've ever had before. More opportunity, more like just for everything, for jobs, for technology, just to create. We have more power to create, whether people think so or not, and the future is bright. So let's see. Anything else you want to talk about or share?
I don't think so. We covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Let's see. Let me think of a good question. Final question. I'm so tired today. Let's see. What do you have a favorite place to go to? Like, what's your happy place? It doesn't have to be a real place. It can be in meditation or it can be a real place. You choose.
I think just like a forest. I spent some time in Oregon and looking around like, why are all these houseplants just like in the ground? It's so weird because I'm from like Colorado, so it's not like that. We've got a few plants and they're really hardcore plants that can survive a lot of stuff. And so when I was in Oregon, there were, fairy circles and mushrooms. I would say that if I could go back there and just spend more time in that natural, like on the Oregon coast, that was the best.
It's nice there.
The best place.
It's so nice there.
Yeah.
It's nice here. It's nice in BC too. I feel so lucky. I look outside my window and it's just so green. I love it. Okay. I guess that's it. So
great. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be talking with you some more. And
yeah, it was nice to talk to you. No, awesome. I'm sure we'll talk again. I'll post the links to your website and stuff below this video so people want to go check you out.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice to see you again.
Bye.